Greetings and welcome. This is Rajiv Makhni on your favorite show, The Cell Guru Show, and its brand new format. And today, to prove that the brand new format is something you all are loving, we're going to start off with a comparison because you all are asking for this. We've got the new iQoo 11. Great phone, great price point, but we're going to compare it to the OnePlus 10T. Premium segment phones from both iQoo and OnePlus. iQoo comes with the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. OnePlus has the 8 Plus Gen 1. Triple camera setup on both. iQoo has a great design. OnePlus looks absolutely fabulous. Great display on both. But which one wins? Then, of course, our very famous, I know you're waiting for it, every single alternate week, the Qualcomm segment. BlackBuck app this time. They're digitizing logistics and trucking. Can you imagine? An app that connects truckers and shippers, optimized for low network areas. App works on budget smartphones also. I really wish I had thought of this. Well, they did, and they're doing an epic job with it. Then we'll review the Marvel Snap review. Marvel in a new avatar, a card battler game. Very addictive game. Game lasts between 5 to 10 minutes only. Microtransactions are also there, but you don't have to pay to win. So very interesting what you can do in 5 minutes of free time. Let's get started with today's show. Our top review today is the comparison between the iQoo 11 versus the OnePlus 10T. Now, iQoo 11 has a big 6.78-inch AMOLED display. OnePlus 10T slightly smaller, 6.7-inch, but very fluid AMOLED display. At its time, was one of the best. iQoo has the better Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, newer, faster processor. But OnePlus has the much-awaited at that time and very reliable 8 Plus Gen 1 processor. Both equally powerful. The cameras, again, 50 megapixel. Main on the OnePlus. The iQoo also has a 50 megapixel. Main cameras click great pictures on both, ultra wide macro camera. Not so good on both of them. The price point, about 10,000 rupees, is a difference right now. But which one really wins the bang for buck flagship phone title?
The premium segment in India is gaining popularity among consumers. With brands pouring into this segment with multiple products, there are a number of options for customers to choose from. But with so many options available, there is always the question, which is the best? The latest entrant is the iQoo 11 5G. In our Cell Guru review, we compared the iQoo 11 5G with the OnePlus 10T to tell you which is the best of the two. Right from the moment you unbox the iQoo 11, the phone stands out for its unique design. The iconic BMW M series branding gives the phone a very sleek look. The large dimensions allow for a super-sized display and components that add to the performance-focused experience. The OnePlus 10T, on the other hand, has a pretty standard design. The camera island is not a separate bump, but is rather part of the Gorilla Glass 5 covering the rest of the back. OnePlus has removed the alert slider from the 10T. Coming to the display of the two phones, the OnePlus 10T has a 6.7-inch fluid AMOLED display. It supports a 120Hz refresh rate, but since it is not an LTPO panel, one will have to manually switch between the different refresh rates depending on the content you're watching. Thanks to the 10-bit color depth, watching content, movies and shows have been an absolute pleasure on the 10T. The iQoo 11 has a slightly larger AMOLED display at 6.78 inches. It comes with a 144Hz refresh rate and a peak brightness of 1800 nits. The media looks vivid, videos and images pop, and the flattened out edges make it for perfect gaming on the go. The main strength of the phone lies in how it performs. The OnePlus 10T is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset, while the iQoo 11 is powered by the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset. Both phones are powerful and can handle anything you throw at them with ease. Using the phones has been a breeze. But the iQoo has an ever so slight edge over the OnePlus only because the chipset is newer and faster. Playing games with maxed out settings was an experience that we loved. The phones did not heat up and there were no frame drops or lags. The OnePlus 10T runs on Android 12 and combines it with Oxygen OS 12.1. We see minimal bloatware on the device and even those can be uninstalled. The iQoo 11 ships with the latest Android 13 OS in the form of FunTouch OS. It's a far cry from stock Android but makes up for it in fluidity and features. It's also disappointing to see the sheer amount of third-party apps installed on the phone, not all of which can be uninstalled. Finally, coming to the cameras of both phones. They both come with a triple camera setup. The OnePlus 10T has a 50MP main sensor, an 8MP ultra-wide sensor and a 2MP macro sensor, while the iQoo 11 comes with a 50MP main sensor, an 8MP ultra-wide sensor and a 13MP telephoto lens. The iQoo 11 does a good job with the 50MP main camera. iQoo's truly spectacular low-light processing steals the show. In comparison to the main camera, the other two cameras are a disappointment. Similarly, the OnePlus 10T's main 50MP camera does a great job. The shots have a good level of detail, the color balance is decent and does pretty well with the dynamic range also. With the right lighting, the shots are exceptional. Here also, the ultra-wide camera and the macro sensor are underwhelming. Both phones come with a 16MP front camera. The OnePlus 10T is priced starting Rs 49,999, while the iQoo 11 is priced at Rs 59,999. So which is the better of the two? Overall, both phones have their pros and cons. But what they do offer is a powerful performance, fast charging and a premium design. If you want a phone with a power-packed performance, then you can go for either of the two phones. But if you want a phone with a slightly better camera, then our recommendation would be to go with the iQoo 11.
Welcome back to our Qualcomm segment, and I have to tell you that this app has made me both very envious and also very proud. The BlackBuck app. Now, it's a one-stop solution for truckers and shippers. Very easy to sync them, almost like a marketplace for truckers and shippers coming together. Easy to use, optimized for budget smartphones, app faces no lag or glitches, works on really old-style smartphones also. Here, take a look. Now, with the widespread rise of mobile technology has come this development of an app culture. Mobile phones have become more than just calling devices. Mobile applications have transformed how we all function. The experience of having a fast internet access combined with an extremely smooth user experience on today's smartphones has led to this entire growth and change in our mindset. From apps that provide entertainment, healthcare, to doing the simplest of tasks, there's an app literally for everything. And currently, mobile apps are reigning in the business world. The pandemic is another reason why every business is now online and has become even stronger. And at a time when everyone was going online, staying offline meant losing out on clients. One business that no one thought would be online was the trucking system. Can you imagine? BlackBuck is an app that is digitizing freight and logistics across the entire country. It connects businesses with truck owners and freight operators. It provides shippers and truckers quick and easy availability, transparent pricing, location tagging, and trustworthiness. The firm leverages technology to solve critical pain points of truckers and shippers across India at scale. We met Rajesh Yabaji, CEO and founder of BlackBuck, to talk about the journey of digitizing the trucking community of India.
In many ways, India runs on its highways. We may have gone high-tech in the 21st century, but goods still need to be physically moved from point A to point B. And that is where trucks come in. Entering an industry that is far cut off from the world of technology was a bold step that Rajesh and his team took. They found a gap when it came to logistics and transportation. Today, the team is working to transform the traditional trucking industry with an app.
I think, I would say first thing, we got lucky, and I think we were like a bunch of people who were right there at the right time in the right place, right? And at that point in time, any procurement of a truck used to happen to like 2 to 3 layers of intermediaries. Whenever you wanted a truck, you would not get it, and you'll get it at like exorbitant prices. So we did a lot of rich work within ITC, which essentially was like the seed, for the thoughts and ideas. And that is what we're doing for now for the entire country.
The idea was not only to bridge the gap in the logistics business with the help of technology, but to also make it easier for truckers and shippers to grow their business offline and online.
Actually, the truck operator who owns like 1 to 3 trucks, right? And ability to transform his life, ability to work at the grassroots with this guy, he being able to appreciate that technology, use it and imbibe in his life, right? That is where the crux of the problem of solving logistics lies, right? A demography of a user who is like 40, 45 years old, not really has a formal education, is sitting out of a small village, right? And then from there, he's trying to run and operate his business, right? Simple, right? If he wants to, let's say, find a load when he does not have, like, he's idling in a particular city, he now wants to like find a load and fill his capacity, right? That there is nowhere else other than like offline, calling people, going to brokers. So solving the loads problem, right? Anything and everything which is needed for a trucker to manage his business, anything which is needed for him to grow his earnings, anything which is needed for him to grow his business is what BlackBuck partners with this truck operator and makes it happen.
Targeting an audience that is not well versed in digital technology was a risk, but one they were willing to take. Their main criteria while building the app to keep it simple and to make sure that even the most basic smartphone could run the app without any glitch.
We were, when we started this business in 2015, only 40% of truck operators in the country had smartphones. The rest did not, right? Thanks to Jio, thanks to internet penetration, now 100% of them have it, right? So our company got built in the era when it was limited data connectivity, limited processing power, right, of the mobile phone, right, and limited know-how or knowledge of the user to operate apps, right? So our technology is like, built to work on probably, the bottom 1% of the smartphones. The entire app size, loading of the pages, the latency it takes, the data network it consumes is all optimized in such a way that in a far-flung area like a very interior of the village, this app can work seamlessly, right? This app is built in like 6 languages, key languages which covers like 98% of the users of the country, so that this guy is able to read it. The way the app is all like built for the Bharat user who lives in a village, right, and is like trying to go on this digital bandwagon and improve his business.
Rajesh and his team knew that the app's user experience had to be top-notch, or the users would just not use the app again. They ensure that the load time, tracking information and other features of the app are spot on.
Basically, there are 2 parts, right? One is the entire creation part, which is the build part of it, right? And the second part is that when you've launched this build, is it working or not? And there is generally a seesaw difference between both, because whatever you build, you think that it's really working very efficiently, right? Now, so entire app is like sort of broken down into more like about close to 1,000 to 1,500 key functions which form the 80% of the activity, right? Each of these functions, right, is monitored on a second-by-second basis on their latencies, on their success rate. Let's say, for example, I am opening the book load page. Now, number of loads which load on the app, there are a lot of like algorithms behind it which run, which actually, sort of gets down to the narrowest level, saying that if I know the trucker is in Bangalore, he typically travels this route. This is the right load for him, right? So in the background, all these algorithms have to run, and then the load has to be shown in the app, like that page has to be loaded, right? So we've got an internal SLA that anything which loads, higher than 500 microseconds, which is like more than half of a second, is a failure. And we observe this functionality for like all the 1,000 services in the company, that are they working at that kind of a granularity speed, right? And we track that like minute by minute, and whenever there is a downtime, everything is RCA'd, right? So that is such a very powerful control, like, control center which we sort of created, which works on to ensure that there is uptime, there is latency management on each of these functionalities.
We're at the Devaraj Earth truck terminal in Yeshwanthpur in Bengaluru. Now, trucking, the delivery of goods by trucks, is not an area in which you would think an app or a smartphone would make a big difference. But we find out that they have.
The truckers and shippers say they find the BlackBuck app to be useful while running their business. From knowing where a possible shipment is to tracking their trucks.
बहुत आसानी है, जैसे कि मार्केट में माल होता है, कभी कभी गाड़ी नहीं मिलती है, जिस गाड़ी वाले को हम जानते भी हैं वो नहीं भी जाता है, पैसों की वजह से या किसी वजह से, लेकिन पोस्ट इस पर डाउनलोड करने पर बहुत अच्छा है। मतलब एक बार जब गाड़ी लग जाती है, दूसरी बात क्या, हम इसका काम में 8-10 साल से हूँ मैं कम से कम, तो गाड़ी वालों को मैं जानता ही हूँ, तो इस ऐप से भी जो मैं नए संबंध बनते हैं, तो अब दोबारा फिर फ़ोन करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती, खुद ही फ़ोन आते हैं उनके।
Due to powerful processors in smartphones, the shippers and truckers do not face any problems while using the app. Rather, they say they are very happy with the application and the way it has made life easier for them.
No, ma'am. It is an Android phone which everyone can use it. It's user-friendly app, so it can be used in every phone. Now, it is the future of transportation.
ऐप में कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, मैं आपको बताऊं, कभी हैंग नहीं होता, फ़ोन गर्म नहीं होता, जैसे कि बहुत से ऐप हैं जिनमें दिक्कत होती है। इस ऐप से फ़ोन को कोई भी दिक्कत नहीं है और कभी ऐसा भी नहीं है कि कभी रुकावट आ रही है किसी तरीके की। जैसे हम पोस्ट लोड करते हैं तो तुरंत सही काम करता है, बहुत स्पीड से काम करता है।
Technology and trucking. A smart app on a smartphone has brought these two very different looking worlds together. With Govind Murthy, Maya Sharma for NDTV.
Wow, who would have thought the trucking system would also be online? This is an absolute first for me, and what an absolute revolution. Welcome Rajesh, welcome to the show. The target audience is not very savvy with apps or phones, so how important is it to have a processor that supports the app without any glitches?
Our company was born in the era when the technology penetration, the smartphone penetration, the internet penetration was probably just beginning to take off in India, right? So at that point in time, most of the smartphones were low spec. Internet, penetration was pretty like meager. So 40% of truckers had smartphones at that point in time, right? So one perspective is obviously like, when you're building the entire code, when you're writing the entire code, right, you write it in a way that it can work on low data network coverage, work on low processor based kind of smartphones, right? So that is one, right? Second is, once you sort of ship the code, right, what is important is that continuously you're able to monitor every, process which is happening in the app on a continuous basis and ensure that it is succeeding, there are low latencies. So I think using these two processes, I think, that the entire BlackBuck application is sort of independent of whichever smartphone you pick up. I think, even a smartphone is like $25. I think above that, the BlackBuck application would work like very seamlessly. And even if you are in a 2G data network coverage, the BlackBuck application will work very seamlessly. So you don't really have to worry about, the data network coverage or the smartphone processing capacity.
Fantastic, Rajesh. Thank you so much. Congratulations once again. And Snapdragon is calling all you Cell Guru fans to join their global community called Snapdragon Insiders. This gives you access to the latest scoop on Snapdragon tech, a chance to connect with the experts behind the scenes, premium experiences, exclusive contests, and much, much more. Look, I'm a Snapdragon insider and you can become one too by simply following Snapdragon on Twitter or Instagram. I'm giving you the handles right here. And also you have a chance to win a OnePlus smartphone by participating in the NDTV Snapdragon contest at ndtv.com. Unleash your dreams. Go there right now. On the Cell Guru Show, it's time now to take a very, very quick break. Do come and join me right after. All of you have been asking for this in our brand new segment. This is what we've started to do. We will be doing something in the entertainment section each week. Today, the Marvel Snap Review. Now, this is a Marvel-themed card battler. Game is very addictive, but does need you to concentrate a lot, but plays absolutely beautifully. You can have varied decks depending upon strategy. Each card feels very unique. The game, the sound design, the interface is quite good. If you have 5 minutes of free time, this would be one of the better ways to actually spend it.
When you think of Marvel and its larger-than-life superheroes, you imagine zipping around a large metropolis and saving your fellow citizens. Therefore, you might be a tad bit disappointed to learn that Marvel Snap is a card battler. But don't write it off immediately, as the game is quite popular and addictive to play once you understand its mechanics. Marvel Snap is a Marvel-themed card battler, and right off the bat it throws you in with not a whole lot of information. Luckily, its tutorial is quite robust, and the central game mechanic of having a higher score than your opponent in 2 out of the 3 arenas is quite simple to learn. The game is addictive, as a standard game won't last more than 5 to 10 minutes, but eventually the grind can feel a lot. The short playtime can make you lose hours in this game, as you don't realize when you're on your 50th game in a row. Each card is unique, and players can have varied decks depending on strategy. Each card has a different effect that can help you reach a higher overall total. The arenas themselves are also always unique, which makes you have to adapt your strategy on the fly. Since in order to beat your opponent, you need to win 2 out of the 3 arenas, and there is no way to predict which one you will get, the game remains fresh and interesting for a long time. If you're the kind of Marvel fan who turns their nose up on the new age Marvel movies because you read the comics back in the day, this is the game for you, as not only does it host a variety of popular characters like Iron Man, Hulk and Star-Lord, but also more obscure ones like Sentinel, Medusa and Spectrum. The matches have you going up against players who are of the same skill level, and as you rank up, you see very different strategies from more advanced players. This can get a little overwhelming at times as the difficulty ramps up quite significantly, but that's not really the game's fault, rather you just meeting opponents who have spent more time on this game. Marvel Snap features multiple daily rewards and microtransactions the player can indulge in. While as a practice, microtransactions are rampant in the mobile gaming industry, the fact that this game is not pay to win is a huge plus. Pay-to-win games in an online competitive environment can often become quite boring and stale to play, so we're super glad Marvel Snap chose not to go that route. Since this is just a card battler, we were quite taken aback by the amazing sound and game design. Like most mobile games, the screen is filled to the brim with various currencies that you can hold up on, with different currencies required for different things. But the music, sound design and character art are beautiful. Characters drawn feel unique and good to look at, especially when you start evolving them. This might seem like a minor point, but the soundtrack and effects makes the game extremely satisfying to play, with the voice lines of each character also making the experience feel authentic.
I am Iron Man.
Marvel Snap is an incredibly popular game for a reason. It uses the Marvel franchise to the fullest possible potential it could in a card battler genre. If you're a Marvel fan, we'd say definitely give it a shot, and if you're a card battling enthusiast, then this is one game you don't want to miss.
That then was the Cell Guru show for this week. We've got such incredible stuff coming in our new format. Do watch out for it. This is Rajiv Makhni signing off. I'll see you next week.